Great. Now, where is my?
because
Yeah.
we record on YouTube live itself. So वहाँ से
Okay. Now,
okay, we are live now and just okay. आपका screen share है तो if you may please close it, that will be nice.
okay.
आपको Zoom में जाके screen share आपको close करना रहेगा. Otherwise, अभी cover page दिख रहा है उसमें भी दिक्कत नहीं है. But I think it is good idea to close it right now. Okay, I'm
Okay.
going
So we'll.
to start recording now and invite you to speak. So first 2 minutes you can breathe. Huh? So, ठीक है.
Yeah.
Whenever you say you are ready, I will start recording and speak. Okay?
Yeah. That's fine.
Shall we?
I
Shall we go?
give me this. I put the timer for our this meeting, so I just switch it off.
हाँ, अच्छा.
Yeah. Okay. I'm ready. It's fine.
Okay, wonderful. Warm greetings. Welcome to another session of Friday Waters Talkies. Today's Friday Waters Talkies is about Rajasthan ki Rajat Boonde. If I have to actually translate it, it is written as Radiant Raindrops of Rajasthan. And we are going to discuss the film with the filmmaker Amit Tiwari. But before we get into the film, the Friday Water series is an extension of the flagship program Wednesdays for Water of the W4W Foundation. And the idea of Friday Waters is to wet the Fridays with fun, filled, and yet fruitful activities for the future generation. Friday Water series has Water Talkies, which is today, book reading session, thesis club session, water art session, and meet a maestro. Some of them taking place once a month, depending on the availability of our speakers. The focus of Friday Water Talkies is on bringing filmmakers and crew who have done or are doing films on some aspects of water matters into the session in order to discuss with them their identified topics and how they build a story around it. In the process, we would like to know the making of the film and the contribution it aims to make in the society. The session is also meant to increase the outreach of the film and the filmmaker. This is Mansi Bal Bhargav from the House of W4W and the moderator for today's session of Friday Water Talkies. For today's session, we welcome Amit Tiwari, who will present insights on the making of the film Rajasthan Ki Rajat Boonde. And welcome, Amit. A quick introduction of you before I invite you to have the interaction with me. Amit Tiwari is specialized in marketing and has worked for several national and international marketing companies. With his film appreciation course in Pune, he began his filmmaking endeavors. Between 2009 and 14, he made 4 short films, and his first short film was about the unprecedented floods in Mumbai, which took several lives. And that 2-minute film had a deep impact. And the film is named It Poured Like Never Before. I think me and Amit, we both experienced that in 2009. It was a visual reflection capturing Mumbai's one of the darkest days, but at the same time exploring human resilience amid the environmental and civic failure. Eventually, he made several impactful films, and today we are going to discuss the water shortage and drought and other aspects, and importantly, the institutional and traditional wisdom that is captured in the film Rajasthan Ki Rajat Boonde, which is inspired from none other than but Anupam Mishra ji's books Rajasthan Ki Rajat Boonde and Aaj Bhi Khade Hai Talab. Welcome, Amit. Before we get into the film, a quick overview of what really made you do this wonderful film, and it is now talk of the town. Actually, I heard it from other people as well. How did you end up doing something about drought and something about institutional memory over generations? What inspired you?
Hey, Bansi. First of all, thank you for having me here, and I really appreciate what you guys are doing. And I wish you all the luck for your future endeavors. And coming back to the film, so it's a long journey, Bansi. I think we spoke over it, and I would say that I started working. I mean, I got to know about water issue, and we know about water issue. I grew up in Agra, and Agra, as a city, it's it's basically a drought city. There's less water, there's less electricity, and so I knew the issue with the water. And then while I was in Pune, I started let's say, learning or researching about Pani Panchayat. So I wanted to capture some stories which are positive, which has more impact on the society. So I came to know about Pani Panchayat. I started my research on Pani Panchayat. At that time, I also volunteered for India Water Portal. So I started meeting the NGOs around Pune and understanding what they are doing. And in that process, somebody told me that why don't you read this book? So there are two books by Anupam Mishra ji. So Aaj Bhi Khare Hain Talab and Rajasthan Ki Rajat Bhoot Hai. So I said, okay, fine. So I read those books. And I must say, as we all know, Anupam Mishra ji, he writes so beautifully. And when I read Rajasthan Ki Rajat Bhoot Hai, I felt that I need to see these things and then see what I do about it. And finally, with the help of some Bhau Trust, I made a visit to Rajasthan. First visit to Rajasthan is in 2012, and I visited this place called Ramgarh village. And with the team, Chatar Singh, and thanks to Farad Bhai and Ashish, I started exploring the area and understanding it more. And then the journey of the film also began. So it took me almost now, I would say, 13 years to complete this film. But finally, we are here, and I'm very happy that the film is complete. And as you said, there are people who are involved with this issue; they are liking it. So I'm quite happy with what we have achieved with the limited resources that we have made the film.
So when you say 13 years, it also gives me how deeply it must have impacted you that you really held on to making this film and completing it at some point. So it's like, you soaked yourself into the subject for such long time. And of course, being a professional, you also have to find time to make the film at your convenience and also at the convenience of your sets. And since it is a visual ethnography, I was also keen to understand from you, did you had any casting in the film, or it is kind of, when we say ethnography, you are actually doing a live documentation of the subject matter, which involves the landscape, the waterscape, the people. How did you really come up with an idea? What will you actually document? Because when we look at your film content, we also know that it has very clear, a clear reflection on what and how people since the traditional past have also saved water, conserved water through different structures and all. So what is actually visual ethnographical work or documentation that you chose to? And was it out of some ideas that how you will be making the film? Or are there any cast in the film? How was it? How did you plan it out?
Yeah, it's a very good question, Mansi, and I think it took 13 years because of this question. So
Yes.
if you would read the book, it's so beautiful, and for me, I think I really wanted to do some justice to the film. In fact, I met Anupam Mishra ji two times specifically, and I asked him that I need your interview. He said, I have done my job. I'm a Munim. I write the accounts and I've done it. And if you want to learn more, I can help you, but then I will not give any interviews. So then that was the biggest challenge, that, how do I make a film and stay in the scope of the book? Because I really wanted it to be the adoption of the book itself. And so then how much creative freedom I should take and not take. So that was a big challenge. And also the narrative of the film. How should I, narrate the film? So it was a journey, I must say, and for me also it was more like a flow. It happened over the time that I became more and more clear how I want to show the story. But one thing which I was clear is I wanted to show the various season in the film. So like,
Yes.
what happens in the drought, what happens when the rainfall happens, what happens after the rainfall, and what happens during the harvesting season. And one of the reasons that the film took so many years is because I had to shoot those seasons and I wanted to go to the same place and to show it, and like what is the impact and what exactly happens, and people can see it themselves, that how it is happening with the help of the visual medium. And I must also say that of course Ramgarh was easy because I had a lot of support from the NGO. But for example, Kund, when I was doing my research, if you go to Google today, you will not find a lot of material on Kund. In fact, a lot of NGOs who are working also, they have very old images of Kund. So for me to find the Kund was also a little bit of task. So I got to know a person called Om Prakash Sharma. So he helped me and he took me around Churu district and took me to the villages to see those Kunds. So that was one part. So then we shot. So I shot the seasons, but then I realized that I'm missing the landscape now because you shoot
Mm.
like from the horizontal. Then how do you see the scale? Okay, if you are there in person, you can see it, but somebody who has never been to that place, how do you see it? Then we did some drone shoots also, like so that he can see the landscape, like how big it is, like what we are talking about. So it took, that is a journey. I cannot explain it so easily, but I would say that that was the most difficult part, to find the narrative and to find the visuals to tell the story, so that people can understand it quite nicely.
Yeah, and you also describe in the film different types of water systems. So maybe it's a good idea we go through your talk as well, how you actually showcase in the film different types of water systems and what are the harvesting approaches Rajasthan has exercised, and through, of course, the way Anupam Mishra described it. And before you actually make your presentation, I would also like to know, when you were making this film, one thing is that we would like to do it because we wish to do it, or I wish to learn about it, for example. Did you had any idea of for whom you are going to make this film? One is, of course, I understand it's a tribute to Anupam Mishra. But when we make a film, definitely there is some larger audience we expect, or how was your thought in this? Because over 13 years, your understanding of water subject of your people has also evolved. And let me just add a small question, that very simple but tricky question here. This 29 minutes film means how many hours of shooting? To be precise, 29 minutes and 41 seconds film. How many hours of shooting?
Yeah, and again, it's a very good question. So I will answer it like this. So the first time, let's say I go to Ramgarh, and so there are people who I was closely working with, Chatar Singh, for example. So and then there were a few more. So they knew about the subject. But if I would meet a person randomly in Jaisalmer and I would ask them, "Hey, do you know anything about Khadeen?" So what is Khadeen? So then I thought, it's such a beautiful thing about Rajasthan. Like when you think about Rajasthan, it's all about desert. It's all about heat. It's all about all those things related to the heat and the desert. But I thought, Rajasthan over the years, they have built this beautiful culture of water conservation. And not only water conservation, but, at some point of time, they were doing a lot of business through the old Silk Route, going via the Jaisalmer, which Anupamji has also described it. So I thought it's such a beautiful culture of water preservation, of, the economics related around the water, the animal husbandry, and also the agriculture which is linked to the water, and how this whole state flourished because of their water conservation. And when we go as a tourist also, we go to, let's say, Udaipura, we go to Lake Pichola, we go to Fateh Sagar, we see all these beautiful water bodies, we click pictures, but we don't realize that, Rajasthan over the years has built such a beautiful, uh, not only lakes, but they have built structures all over Rajasthan.
Yes.
Whatever was available, they have tried to make the best use of the available resources, and it's so beautiful. So I felt it's a pity that people don't know about it, and for me, and that is why I released it on YouTube also. That people should be able to see it more and more, especially the young people. A lot of people who saw the film, they told me that, hey, I've been to Rajasthan many times, but I was not aware about these parts. I said, for me, it was the same, because when I started visiting and shooting, then I realized, people should know more about it.
Well, that's very interesting, and maybe it's a good idea that we see a snapshot from the film, if you agree to it, and because I have the responsibility to share. So let me just do it quickly, and I will also get it ready where it should be played. So
Yeah, we can we can see, Mansi, the initial part. For me, it's very
Yes.
interesting. It also, yeah, I think we can see that.
Let me just share now, and then we can then go ahead and continue our conversation. Yes. I think I missed sharing with the sound. So what I shared with you, I missed myself. Okay.
जहाँ 3 सेंटीमीटर पानी गिरता है एवरेज हिंदुस्तान में, उसमें पानी की एक कमी नहीं है, इनसे बीच में मिली एक बूंद कमी नहीं है पानी की। वो लातूर में रेल जाते हुए हंसते हैं देखकर कि रेल से पानी जा रहा है, हमारे यहाँ तो रेल लाइन ही नहीं है, कैसे भेजोगे पानी? तो हमने अपना इंतजाम खुद किया है।
कहते हैं मरुभूमि के समाज को श्री कृष्ण ने वरदान दिया कि यहाँ कभी जल का अकाल नहीं रहेगा। प्रसंग महाभारत युद्ध समाप्त होने का है, लेकिन मरुभूमि का समाज इस वरदान को पाकर हाथ पर हाथ रखकर नहीं बैठ गया। उसने अपने को पानी के मामले में तरह तरह से संगठित किया। गांव-गांव, शहर-शहर वर्षा की बूंदों को सहेज कर रखने के तरीके खोजे और जगह-जगह इनको बनाने के लिए एक बहुत ही व्यवहारिक, व्यवस्थित और विशाल संगठन खड़ा किया। इतना बड़ा हो गया कि वह सचमुच निराकार हो गया। मरुभूमि के समाज ने भगवान के वरदान को एक आदेश की तरह शिरोधार्य कर लिया। इस अद्भुत प्रयास की ओर ध्यान आकर्षित करने के लिए हम जस्ट ढोल बजाते हैं, पधारो हमारे देश।
Wow, that was really a good start to get into it. So it will be a good idea to now take a look at the way the whole film is made, and I invite you to make your presentation now. Yeah?
Yeah. Give me a minute and then I share my screen.
So now we just go through the entire water systems, because that was very nice the way you start in the film, how it's a blessing which they have taken it very seriously. And I think I also like the line that these different types of water systems really brought everyone together as one into the oneness of it. And I think Rajasthan is one of the states where we can really see this blessing people made out of this crisis, because rest of the country is not that keen in saving water in such beautiful way.
Yeah, I also agree. For me, it has been a big, how should I say, big learning to see that, you know, how they have been doing it, and not only they have been doing it very recently, but they have been doing over the generations. So that was very fantastic for me to see.
So whenever we talk about water management, we also talk about actually community water management, because water management is people management. So how people are managing themselves to manage the water. That's also something very clear comes out from your film. Yes, I can see your screen. So if you may go full screen, that will, yes, please. Yes, go ahead.
Can you see now?
Yes, it's absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so we spoke about, you know, we started with the Anupam Mishra ji's video bite where he speaks about Latur and so on. So I think for me, as you mentioned also, this film is a tribute to him, because this film is about not only about the water, but the rich culture and the wisdom that we have in our country, and we can do a lot about it. So I must say, this book, this film is a tribute to him, and also to the people of Rajasthan who have been doing this great work for over the years. And so here we start. And what I've done, Mansi, for today's discussion, so the book is actually, he has written in chapters. So what I have done for this session is, I've also kept some images in form of chapters, and I will just like to take you and the audience through it so that we can learn more about the film, and then they can also go to the YouTube and watch the full film.
Yes.
So let's go. So what you see here is basically Rajasthan, a small village. If you go towards the border between India and Pakistan, so it's a small village ahead. I mean, I think it's 80, 90 kilometers ahead of Rajasthan. It's a beautiful village. But this is a picture that we also have of Rajasthan, where we see, let's say, the desert, the heat, and small villages, and so on. And as a tourist, when we go there, maybe we want to see the desert, or we want to see some of the old forts, and that is how we know about Rajasthan. But if you would notice, one of the very famous picture of Rajasthan is
Yes.
also this, which is the Garcisa Lake. And this is my favorite picture, which I clicked with when we were shooting in the morning, and my wife was with me when we were doing this shoot. But this is also one of the picture, not this, but something similar to this, that we have seen across the social media and also various platforms.
Yes.
And it describes the film, not film, but the Rajasthan very beautifully, where you see the water, you see the sun, and you see that how beautifully the society made this whole culture of preserving the water. And when I read the book, if you see the front page of the book, the front and the last page, it has the picture of Amar Sagar and also the Garcisa Lake. And that was also the big motivation, because I wanted to see and experience it, that how these lakes would look if I would be there in person. So yeah, so for me, Rajasthan is this. So it's full of life, like energy, sun, and it's full of water, and you see the radiance of the sun reflecting on the water. So also the title of the film is The Radiant Raindrops of Rajasthan, the English
Yeah.
translation of Rajasthan Ki Rajat Boondein. So then we go further, and we
I
try
just
to
add a
understand.
line here, if you don't
Yeah,
mind, because
yes,
the
please.
water architecture of Rajasthan is something so unique that it's actually, you cannot find it anywhere in the world. Of course, every other regions of the world have their uniqueness of water architecture, but Rajasthan has gone completely exemplary with all these intricacies of, this
Yes,
is in a way celebrating water because it is so precious for them.
yes, I fully agree. And I think it is one of the, let's say, desert. I mean, it is one of the places where you have the desert, but none of the other deserts have these kind of water structures.
Yes.
So it's also very unique about Rajasthan. Then, because the book and the film talks about the Rajat Boondein, the radiant raindrops, and then we jump into the film and we try to understand more about it. That how what is this culture of preserving every drop of water? So every drop of water is precious. So we come to know something which is very, very unique about Jaisalmer, or the place around the Jaisalmer, is the Queen. In some places it is called Beri, or in some places they call it Queen. The English translation is something like a small well.
Yes.
So you typically have basically the water. Which one water is surface water, which you can take with the help of, let's say, lakes or the ponds or the rivers. Then the second form of water is the underground water, which you can pull out of the well. But this is the third kind of water, which is not on the surface and not in the groundwater. It's somewhere in between. And why this exists in Jaisalmer? Because there is a gypsum layer which protects the water from going under to the underground. So it is somewhere in between, and this is something very unique about this part of the world, that this third layer exists where the water is there, and which is taken out with the help of a queen or the well. And making this queen is also very not very easy. People make it and they go down, they dig it, and they take the
Wow.
mud, and they come out. So it's quite tricky. But then in Rajasthan, they have been doing it for over the years. And let me also show you. So this is one of the picture of one pond. The name of the pond is Biprasar. So you can see the men. They are feeding. They are giving the water to the sheeps, and you can see the guy is pulling out the water from these small queens and giving to the animals. And this in this pond, basically, when in the movie you will see it complete cycle. So you will see the pond before the rain, to the rain, and again when it dries up and the queen comes out of the pond.
Wow.
So basically, so in the film shows the complete cycle. So what happens is during the monsoon, it gets filled slowly. So villagers, they take water out of that pond, and slowly the pond dries and the queen starts coming out. And when it's completely dry, then they take out the water from the queen. So for me, it was very beautiful to see this. And Mansi, you will also notice there are women working behind. There are some women you can see, they are in the picture. I mean,
Yes.
on the back side of the picture. So basically, what they are doing is they are cleaning the pond. So this is the now there is no water, but they believe that the water will come. So they are also preparing the pond for the next rain. So they are also cleaning the pond. So they are taking away the sad, how it is called. I don't know the English word for it, but it's the residual which comes along with the water. So they are taking it and dumping on the
The edge
on the
of
dhura, on the edge. Yes, on the
yes.
dhura. Yeah. So that is what they are doing. So yeah. So this is about one
So
of the
there's a
water bodies.
complete community arrangement that they will take care of their water body. I mean, this is something what we have been trying to learn from across India. They do it in
Yes.
different water systems, but then we have these centuries of wisdom, which is, I think, what Anupam Mishra ji has spent his life telling us, that we don't have to go anywhere. We already have the wisdom. We just have to agree to save it, save the water.
Correct. Correct. And I think you pointed out the right thing at this point, because this small well does not belong to a person. It belongs to the whole
Yes.
community. There are multiple wells, and people, they work together. They take out I mean, they use it for their own purpose. So you rightly said it's a community thing, and the reason that Rajasthan has been successful, because the community is working. So there is no
Yes.
government fund or some fund which is supporting it. Of course, there are people like NGOs like Sambhav who fund and support them whenever required, but it is also with the support of the community. So community is also, it's a very important part of it.
And the
So
main
yeah,
custodian also, we see it since antiquity. It's only in the recent time the ownership is changing, which is also disassociating a lot of community, but not in Rajasthan, to be honest, because
yes,
they have been self-reliant for a long time, and they have their system still in use, and they want to continue with it. So that's
yeah.
beauty.
I have a story. I mean, like what you said. So my friend, and like a lot of even my friend, for them, this topic was like, I mean, who will watch? I mean, who will go and take out the water from the well or a small well? They can have a pump, like So for most of the people, the water is, they go to their tap, they open the tap, and the water comes. So so
Yes.
so we don't realize, how. Like you said, the ownership is with the let's say the government or the state government and so on. So our generation and even my friends, they feel that, okay, for me, water is my right. I switch on the tap, I should get the water. But like we have seen that there are many places where water is becoming a real challenge, even in the big cities now.
Absolutely. And I think from them, we actually learn that with right comes duties. If it
Correct.
is your right, it is also your duty to protect, to safeguard your own right, nothing more.
Yeah, yeah, I fully agree. Yes. So coming back to the film, so if our audience will watch the film, they will see the complete cycle of this pond, and they will see that how beautifully and how many villages are drinking water from this, and they will see the whole cycle. And I feel they will really like it. So this is one of the system of Rajasthan. Should we go to the next one, Mansino?
Yes.
Then for me, this was very interesting. This is called Kund, and this is I found typically around Churu district. And for me, it was a journey to find the Kund. So as I said, when I was doing my research, I was googling around. I was not finding good pictures. Even in Anupam Mishraji's talks or in his book, there was one or two images that I was able to see. Then I found somebody who took me to the small villages, and I could see not one kund, but once you will be surprised that this whole village they had kunds, like like the bunch of kunds. So every space was utilized with a kund, and you will see in the film that how the kunds are lined up. And first I shot it like horizontally, but then we took the aerial shot to show it that how some of the kunds are so big, and how they were not only used for the individual purpose but also for the social purpose. So there are some kunds which people made for themselves, but there were some kunds which were made for the whole society. And then also we see in the film that the people have tried to use every bit of the soil to capture every drop of the rain. So you can see here there is a small hole. So every drop collected on this catchment area, it goes through the wall, through that hole inside the tank, and then people can take out the water throughout the year. So typically these kind of structures are found around the Churu district. So for me, this was very fascinating to see not only one kund, but see the whole, hundreds of kund or in one area. And in Rajasthan, they have something called tanka, very
Yes,
similar.
Tanka.
Yeah, so the name can change, but the kund, like this shape, it exists mainly around Churu district, or I found them mainly around Churu, but in Jaisalmer, these are called tankas. So tankas can be on the ground, tankas can be at the home. So they try to capture the water which is either falling on your rooftop or it is on the surface. So basically, the principle is same. So you try to preserve every drop of water and then use it throughout the year. Yeah.
And interestingly, this particular water structure, I suppose, is most featured water structure around the world, if I may exaggerate. But I mean, whenever we talk about the dying wisdom or the wisdom which we need to conserve, not only conserve water, but we also need to conserve the knowledge of the water. This is one of the most used picture.
Yes,
Because
I
it's
agree.
a time-tested technology, actually.
Yes, I must say that for me also I felt the same, that oh my God, there's something so nice, and why I don't find a lot of information on this on the YouTube or on the Google. To my surprise, there is nothing. There are some old 2-3 pictures which people have been circulating it. So in the film, you will see a very very big kund, like the size of the kund is like 1 biga. How do you call it? 1 hectare, or yeah. So it's quite big, and we have shot it extensively, and we have also shot a lot of kunds. We have also shot like one kund which belongs to one person, and this old man, he built his own kund with of course with the help of some people. But then there are also a lot of kunds which are spread in the village. So you will see a lot of kunds in the film, especially on this section. I did not spend, or I did not shoot a lot of tanka because I felt tankas is quite well known. But yeah, you will see the tankas also there, like the roof one also, and also the tankas which are built on the remote places so that people can also take water when they need it.
What is also interesting to also point out here, when we talk about kui, it is part of the lake or the pond. When we talk about
Correct.
kund, actually, they make a lot of effort to keep surrounding area very clean, because the water
Yes.
from the surrounding land space will also get into the kund. I have a small question here, because when you talked about Churu, because it is the most water stressed or the driest part of Rajasthan, and you mentioned that there were multiple, kund in this place which you documented. and some individual, some community level. What do you think is the reason that one particular village or the villages out there have so many of them? Is it the absence of lakes and the Kui or other water systems, that, or this is the most sustainable option? Probably, of course, villagers may have tried. Did you had that
Yeah.
inquiry with them?
I did not specifically ask this question, but I believe it is related to the nature of that region. For
Yes.
me, I felt that in that specific region, this was the most sustainable option. So they try
Yes.
to save everything which is falling on, in their what is the word for the angan in English? So
Yeah,
in
in their
their yard,
court or courtyard,
or,
everything.
or in their courtyard or in their roof, and then they try to save it. And also Churu is also not a very agriculture place, huh? So for me,
Yes.
I felt that it was more of a it's a very dry kind of a desert, if I can
Yeah.
say it.
It's the
So
driest
I
part
think
of Rajasthan anyway.
correct. Yes. Yeah. So for me, this specific structure is quite sustainable from that angle.
Nice.
Okay.
Yes.
And should we move to the next one, Mansi?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay.
You may
Then,
take your call when you want to move, so you need not
yeah.
ask.
No, because
Just feel free.
I like this
I have a lot
conversation,
of
and I
questions, but I know we both are so much I soaked in these water conversations. We can go on and on, but we'll also have to keep in mind the time and also recording. So you may please take a call when you want to go to the next part of the film and all, okay? Because we also have Khatin, if I remember, and the Talab, and yeah.
Good. So we move next, and then we move to the next chapter. So we saw the one chapter which talks about Kui. Then we move to the Kund or the Tanka. Then we move to the Talab and the pond. And Anupamji says that it's like every drop is like an ocean. So this picture, what you see, is basically for a small pond. Again in Ramgarh, it's called Jia Desar. So you can see the image before during the drought period when there is no water and it's completely dried out, and then you see the picture after the rain and it's fully filled. So for me, there were many structures, many ponds like this, which basically they get filled after every monsoon, and people use them for their own requirement. So this is this also I highlighted that for me, I really wanted to show the whole journey, and it was very important for people to understand that there is no government body which is actually bringing the water tankers and filling the ponds for a photo shoot. So it's not like that. It's actually it's a natural water.
Naturally happening.
It's naturally happening. And then sorry.
Actually, I want to add something here because I've completed almost 170 lake walks or pond walks, water walks. One big message I continuously tell people over last 10 years of my walks is we have to embrace and appreciate a water body when it is dry and not really dump garbage just because it is dry, and not look at that water body as a piece of land when it is dry. It is just a rejuvenating phase or hibernating phase of the water body. This is like my set talk in every walk. And you can see that this is a very shallow water body, but in village they know today it is dry, tomorrow it will fill. But you know what has happened with most of these water bodies when they get engulfed into the urban areas? The image that political setup, most educated people project is, look, this is dry, this is of no use, we have to do something about it. For example, in Ahmedabad, most of the lakes are filled by canal water coming from 1200 kilometers away from Narmada, and then they are filling the lakes because we have given an impression to society that a lake is something which needs to be filled with water. And then that narrative has changed expanded to year-round water. Whereas most of the Western India's lakes must dry if it is naturally, and then it is a richer ecosystem if it is dry and then refills. And you make a very classic example here.
Yes, absolutely. And just to link it back to the point that we were discussing, that there is a community culture. So we saw that when the lake is dried and people are
Yes,
taking water out of the well,
cleaning.
the women are cleaning the ponds and the lakes. So that's also what we need. So it's not a dump yard like you said.
Yes,
Then again, this is Biprasar again. So you see now it's completely filled. As I was talking, that you will see in the movie this the beautiful pond before the monsoon, after the monsoon, and then what happens. So you saw the guy taking water out of the queen when it is dried, but now it is completely full, and you see the women, they are taking the water out of this pond and they drink it. So I
yes.
also drank it from this pond, and the
Wow.
local legend is that if you drink this water, or basically the local legend in Rajasthan is, if you drink any water coming out of the rain, it is the best water for your
Yes,
body, and then you don't get any disease. Yeah, so everybody of the, I mean, most of the people, or all of the guys that I met, they believe that this is the purest form of water, and then they just drink
yes.
it without doing any filtration. Yeah. Then
Yes.
interestingly, so I then in Rajasthan, of course, we spoke about Ghat season. I also wanted to highlight about Amar Sagar. So Mansi, in the good old
Yes.
times, Jaisalmer had a lot of lakes. So they had a lot of
Yes.
big lakes, and we know the condition of those lakes now. You can see this is Amar Sagar. It's I shot it during one of the dry periods, so you see the image of it. But what I wanted to highlight here is that there was a culture of not only making the lakes but also making them so beautifully. So you see there was
Yes.
this beautiful structure around the lake, so that it motivates people to enjoy the beauty of the lake. But also
Absolutely.
yeah, but you also see this elephant and the horse, and these were the water level indicators. So basically, they would tell the people that, hey, what is the level of the water now? So as the water level goes up, they know, okay, what season it will last, and if it goes beyond a certain point, okay, now it is a dangerous level, and so on. But in the good old days, they were connected. But now we have killed all those connections. And then most of the lakes have become dump yards. But then I felt for me, Amar Sagar, and especially this elephant and the horse, and also this beautiful structure around the lake. It is also a reminder to a lot of people that it's
Yeah, and also
not only
that the
for building
lake
the
does
lakes,
not
but also
belong
to
to
make a
humans
beautiful.
alone, but for everyone.
Yes, correct. Yes. So yeah. So in the movie, we there is a chapter on Amar Sagar also. We you will see again the full the, I mean, you will see more about Amar Sagar, which I have tried to capture it. Then I have a question for you,
Yes,
Mansi. What is this? What do you see now? Is it a lake, pond, or what exactly it is?
wetland.
So they call it khadin in
Yes,
Rajasthan.
Karin. Yes,
Khadina. So basically, it's a temporary lake, as
yes.
the rough, loosely English
And
translation. So sorry,
I must add
go-
here that it is considered the richest ecosystem on planet.
correct,
The shallowest the
correct.
water body, the richer it is in that ecosystem.
Yes, and honestly, I took my parents also to show them this part of Rajasthan, also my wife, and all of us were amazed, and we could not believe that there is so much water everywhere. So and this is one of the images. I have a lot of images like this, but this is one of the khadins, and there are multiple khadins like this in Jaisalmer, and the khadin was something very very new to me. I did not know anything about khadin, and it was like a miracle. And I felt that,
Mhm.
oh my God, this is so beautiful, and this is so natural, no energy. Yeah, so it is happening all naturally.
There is
So
slow. There is slow because they will use it for farming.
correct. You are right. And so basically the people are using the slow, and over the generations they are using it. And so this khadin is also called as Jan Dhan Ka Amar Patta, like how
Yes,
Anupamji describes it. So the translation in English is the eternal field of life and wealth. And let me explain it a little bit more. So
yes,
I tried to explain it through pictures. On the left hand side, what you see is the Goidhan. And I know, Mansi, you know what exactly it is. For our audience, they see this beautiful structure on a piece of, let's say, agricultural land. It's called Goidhan. So wherever, if you go around Jaisalmer, wherever you find this kind of structure, you should know that there is a water around, or it will come after the monsoon. So it's the indicator of that. And people also worship those places in a way, because it's also sacred, because eventually this place will have water. And the height of this Goitan is about 6 feet. It's I mean, I am 5'11", so it was taller than me. So it's taller than me. And on the top right, you see, I tried to take. I was quite far, and during the monsoon, you see it's completely underwater. So
submerged,
the water level, it's completely submerged underwater. So yeah, it was too late for me, and then I did not go there again. It was it's not very clear, but still you can see it's completely submerged underwater, and the water level. And then the bottom right is, so what happens is this lake, it dries up after like 2-3 months. But what it does is it keeps the soil moist. And in that moist soil, they have this agriculture. And then you can see the crop on the bottom right. And then, yeah. And this is one of the Khadins. This place is called Dherasar. But I also met one family, which you will see in the film, Ghaziram and his family. So this is the picture which they shot from their own mobile phone, and they shared with me. So this is during the monsoon time. So this Khadin is completely full. And we have this thing called chadar. In English, it's the
water sheet.
Water sheet, yes. So the water is going out of the water sheet. And these Khadins basically, like Mansi, you said, there is a slope. And as long as the slope exists, the water flows. So the water is also flowing from one Khadin to another Khadin. So it's the kilometers of Khadin. So in the film, you will see, actually, we have tried to capture it, that how does it look like? It almost feels like a river. And then this Ghaziram, he also explains that how the water flows from one Khadin to another, and then how it helps him to have not only the agriculture, but it also supports him to have more and more, the animals to take care of. And so this is the actual picture which they shared with me during a monsoon time. And what I've tried to do is, behind the picture, you see the crop. It is from the same field. So when it dries up, and they have this crop, so you see the picture from the same field after during the, let's say, December, January time, after the crop, you start seeing the signs of it. And then again, from the same field, for me, I could not ever believe that I would see a mustard growing in desert. And again, this is from the same place, and they had the chana and also the mustard. So for me, I was so amazed by it. And this is for me, Khadin has been my, let's say, discovery. And I've spoken and I've told my friends about it, and my parents, I showed that, my wife also. And my whole, I think it's a true miracle. It's completely natural, no energy.
I would like to add something here, because Khadin, what we call also as wetlands, are the most vulnerable water bodies also, because they are so shallow. And we have a tendency to look at the planet from the land lens, not from the water lens. And because most part of the year it is a land, and the water is for very less time. But we have to also highlight at this point in time to all of our audience here, because of the presence of wetlands, it is called with different names in different parts of the country. We actually have by law one farming season in every wetland. So when the wetland is dry, in the past, farming was a very common activity. And again, it was a community farming, just the way wetland is a community wetland or water space. And just to add to your nice, that little measurement pole, actually the amount of water Khadin will store in one monsoon or in one rainfall or over certain time was also in the past a decisive factor of how much we will grow as a community and what we will grow.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
So there was so much of collective wisdom, and that I think in urbanization we have lost the collective wisdom. We have a lot of individual wisdom.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And
just
to this
wanted
point,
to add to
Mansi.
your beautiful chapter here, whatever little I know also.
No, yeah, but thanks for adding that. That also reminds me in the movie, the guys what you just mentioned. So this guy, he talks about that how the Kharid is helping him to to grow economically
Absolutely.
also. Not only the food, but also the animals and so on. So he describes it quite nicely that how it is a help. And I also want to add one point, Mansi, here is when I was doing my research on Pani Panchayat also, so we have many water bodies which are very energy, like you need energy, some form of
Yes.
energy, let's say, either to have a pump to take the water from X place to the Y place or
Yes.
something like that. But in this place, there is no, you don't need any energy.
It's
Basically you are
natural.
using the
It's
slopes. It's
cascading. Yeah.
completely natural. So I
Topographical.
topographical, yeah. So I think that is also a very important point for us to understand that as we always keep listening about this like the energy shortage and more energy requirement, we have to be mindful of how we are saving energy in some way or not. So I think it's a very beautiful example of that also.
I actually would like to encourage you to go and also make a short film in Japan at Hyogo Prefecture, where they have experimented on different wetlands, community water management, and linking it to community livelihood and farming. Hyogo Prefecture is called the Museum of Lakes.
Oh, wow.
So it's I did a small research as on invitation, and it was really nice. I wish I was also knowing some tricks or skills of doing films, because I have the fortune of visiting so many water bodies around the world. But I definitely encourage you, because
Yes,
I think you very well put that this was something unexpected and miracle for you, because this is the most important water body in the planet. As I said, most important not only in terms of ecosystem, but also providing the future regenerative life and also the water. Because of the rich ecosystem, it also contains the purest of the water. And it
yes,
is the most vulnerable water bodies, because
yes,
its water is invisible for most time of the year, but the soil is moist.
yes, yes, I fully agree.
But who cares
And
for the soil? Because soil has become land in urbanization and
yeah,
development.
yeah, yeah. And the movie talks also about it as we go
Yes,
towards the
please.
end. So the movie talks about that part also. Yes, and then okay. So now we spoke about, let's say, the surface water, the water which is somewhere between. Then we spoke about the Kharid, and then we move to the wells, which is also the lifeline of Rajasthan. So
Yes.
this also is still working well. And I was also amazed to see this. We traveled like from Ramgarh, also a few kilometers inside desert, and these guys were taking out the water and feeding their sheep. And in film, we have captured the whole sequence, that how the sheep come in, they take out the water, feed them, and then they go away. For me, also, this was quite nice.
You
And
have
Anupam,
good mention
sorry,
of Puli in your film, and yes.
yes, yeah, because so as Anupamji says, so like in Rajasthan, maybe the Lord Indra will have one or two rains. It will give one or two rains to the place, but the police working 12 months, so the police helping the people all around the year, and it was quite nice to see this, that how they still use it. Some places they have put the pumps, so once you put the pump, you know that the well will die in 1 or 2 years, because then you will take out
Yes.
the complete water, and then there is no water left. So for me, I was very happy that they still use the camel, and they still are mindful of the impact of of a well has the environment around it. Like so.
Yes.
So it's also very
And I think
important.
the mechanical system in the past also allowed very, I will say, judicious extraction of water.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that it is for humans and for animals, because most of the animal husbandry is also owned in that region. So it's
Correct.
not that an industrialist will come and take away everything. In fact, I mean, I'm still questioning, did we really require to industrialize our community? I don't know. It's a very vague question. But when we look at this kind of, our historical evidences are the way ancestors lived, I feel they were more sustained lifestyle, or they were more sustainable than we are today. And because
Correct.
we keep talking about sustainability, but the dependence on others' resources is so high.
Yeah.
Today.
You are right. And that was the point. So Chhatra Singh and myself, when we were shooting it, and because he has been one of the narrator, or he's one of the narrator in the film, we talk about it, like how people are killing the wells by putting more and more pumps, and how in the good old times, like you explained, like when you use the animals, when you use it judicially, you're also ensuring that the well will last for years to come. And it's like it's there's a balance between the nature and the human, and then they are still trying to keep it. But I must also say that there were a few more wells I tried to explore, but they were completely dried. So it's still one of I could find one of the wells still working and still feeding people. But in many pumps now they put motors. Yeah.
It will also depend on the context, and maybe the drying of well has to be understood by what's going around in the surrounding region.
Absolutely, yes.
Industry, very natural wells will dry.
Yes.
You're
right. Yeah. Then the same picture, I mean, the same setup, but from the other angle, I just wanted to emphasize that how the pulley is helping them to take out the water, and and help to feed the animals, and also take the water for their own needs. So but the same place, but you can see it's all desert from all the sides.
Yeah.
And then I told you that we will talk about this industrialization and the impact. So then there is a chapter on the book which in the film about how the society is changing, and we see that the wisdom is losing. In fact, I must say, in my so many years of traveling, except few people, not many were aware of these beautiful structures. Nobody even cared. Like if you would go to a Gharsis and you would click the picture, but nobody knows the history behind it.
Yeah.
Nobody knows the history of the Amar Sagar or the Chand Baoli, or so many like beautiful step wells that have been made across Rajasthan. So many lakes, so many ponds. So I think it's very important that through all the possible mediums like books, films, whatever, we pass on this knowledge to the people.
Absolutely.
And we try to do something for the society.
So maybe it's a good idea that we also show this part of the film, because then we hear kind of direct manifestation, and also hear from the horse's mouth, to put it another way. Yeah. Okay. So then I request you to close your presentation so that I can share it. So these people can go live in my sharing.
Yes.
Then.
Yes.
Okay. Let me do that now, and I will play the part. Confirm if you see.
राजस्थान में विशेष रूप से रेगिस्तान में जल के कार्य को कभी भी केवल कार्य के रूप में नहीं माना गया, बल्कि इसे एक नैतिक कर्तव्य के रूप में देखा जाने लगा, क्योंकि यह सामुदायिक परियोजना से बहुत ऊपर उठकर एक सुंदर समग्र जल दर्शन, यानी एक आदर्श जल दर्शन का आकार ले चुका है। लेकिन समय बदल रहा है। विकास के नाम पर इस भूमि की समृद्ध विविधता धीरे धीरे लुप्त होती जा रही है। परंपरा मिट रही है और रेगिस्तान में जल संस्कृति भी।
खेती, उद्योग और शहर, इन तीन चीज के लिए पानी जुटाने हमने अपनी सब नदियों को बर्बाद किया है। हर एक से पानी खींचा है, साफ पानी लिया है और बदले में उसको गंदा पानी दिया है। बड़ी नदियों को हम मार नहीं सके, इसका हमको दुख है। छोटी नदियों को तो हमने मार दिया है। जमीन की कीमत तो आसमान में होगी ही इस समय। तो कोई तालाब शहर में बचेगा नहीं, गांव में नहीं बचेगा। आपको देखना पड़ेगा कि इसके पीछे कौन सा प्राइस टैग डाला जाए कि वो बच सके।
शहर के विकास ने, जैसे जैसलमेर है, वहाँ 7 तालाब थे, अब वहाँ कॉलोनियाँ बस गई, सड़कें आ गई, तालाबों के एक दूसरे के जुड़ाव को उन्होंने तोड़ दिया, उनके आगोर में खनन कर लिया। और गांव में आज भी वो चीज़ कायम है, लगाव है जमीन से, पारंपरिक जल स्रोतों से, सबसे समाज का लगाव, और समाज करता आ रहा है, अभी भी कर रहा है। जल के प्रति बहुत लगाव है, बहुत श्रद्धा है, और जल के नहीं किया तो फिर हमें कुछ है ही नहीं, ऐसा भाव है आदमी के। कुछ पानी के लिए नहीं कर सकते तो फिर। एक बार मैंने अखबार में, यहाँ बेरियागंज बना रहे थे, समाज सब था, तो अखबार में आया कि जनप्रतिनिधियों ने शहर में अर्धनग्न होकर प्रदर्शन किया पानी के लिए। तो मैंने यहाँ बुजुर्गों को सुनाया कि भाई उन लोगों ने आधा नंगा होके प्रदर्शन किया कि पानी नहीं। उन्होंने कहा नंगा होने की क्या जरूरत है, सभी मिलके काम कर लो, पानी हो जाएगा। तो मतलब ये जो समझ है शहर और गांव में, ये भेद है। शहर में पहले मैं भी था, तो मैंने कहा PhD विभाग करेगा, ये करेगा, मटके फोड़ो, वो फोड़ो, प्रदर्शन करो। और अब लगता है कि हम खुद कुछ करें तो बहुत गुणवत्ता है जो अपना काम खुद करता है।
रेगिस्तान में एक नहीं अनेक कुएं, कुई, कुंड, टांके, तालाब, बावड़ी और खडीन हैं, जिनमें बारिश की बूंदें सहजता से संजो कर रखी जाती हैं। माटी, जल और ताप की तपस्या करने वाला यह देश बहते और ठहरे पानी को निर्मल बनाकर रखता है। पालर पानी, रजानी पानी, पाताल पानी की एक एक बूंद को समान मानता है और इंद्र की एक घड़ी को अपने लिए 12 मास में बदल देता है। कभी क्षितिज तक लहराने वाला अखंड समुद्र हाकड़ों आज यहां भी खंड खंड होकर उतरता है। पधारो हमारे देश।
I have one story. So when Chakan
Yes.
Singh, myself, because we used to speak a lot and philosophical also. So one day he asked me, Amit, who are you? We were having some discussion. So I said, I did not understand your context. And he said, what percentage of your body is water? I said, must be around 60%. So exactly. So we are water. Then he said, Earth. I said,
Absolutely.
70% water. So he said, see, the Earth is water. So there is nothing without water. So we
Absolutely.
so yeah, it's for me, yeah. And I think this part which the last 2-3 shots where we see the Biprasa lake from the top, you see how big it is. Like it's massive,
Yes.
where it fills completely, and there are, I think, 13 villages who take water out of this pond during the after the monsoon season. And also the for me, my beautiful shot is the one at the time of sunset. So I think
Yes. That's also cover page or cover image
cover
of your
page,
film.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So for me, it was like a spiritual journey, I must say. So we were shooting, and then suddenly the sun started going down. I said, "Wow! So let's do it more." And we were so tired. I said, "I just want to shoot it. I don't know if I'll get this shot or not." But yeah, it's a beautiful shot that we could
Yeah.
take.
And I think the last bit also tells how we not only lost the water system, but we are also losing the water wisdom, which is the
Correct.
whole idea. Anupamji spent his whole life about water wisdom, and the knowledge of water is equally important to actually talk about water. And you have captured it so beautifully. So I just want to ask something outside the film, because you have a full career which is not filmmaking. Film is more of a passion. And now that you see as a reflection of 13 years of tapasya coming out in this kind of film, what's brewing next with Amit in terms of any filmmaking, any plans or anything?
Yeah, so so in the 13 years I was, let's say, I had few ideas which I was scribbling on the side. So let's say now I'm writing the script for some fictions. So that is
That's
in
nice.
process. So
Yeah.
yeah, I really want to. So I have a lot of ideas, but then I need to write it, and then I need to find time
Yeah.
to shoot it. It takes a lot of time, you know that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but then I have some plans to make. So this was my first documentary film. Before that, I made few shorts. So I would like to now go towards the complete 90 minutes film. So that is the target.
Oh,
let's
that's
say.
nice. That's nice. And I would also like to get little bit announced from the end towards the end of the film when the old Kaka, as we say in Gujarat, Kaka, he talks about doing it yourself, and he puts it so nicely. There's nothing better than doing about water, you know.
Correct.
And you also mentioned then when someone asks you about how much water do we have. To be honest, the way we have envisaged W for W and the way I conduct life personally, if 70% of water in my body, I should be spending 70% of my day talking, thinking, walking, working about water. And that's how I'm trying. That's, I think, big change I can see in my way of living. And I talk about it also in the TED Talk, by the way. So in my own TED Talk, that I am water, and how can we start looking at ourselves and other water bodies. The fact that we look at water bodies in a very complacent way, just the way we look at sun and moon and stars. कि वो है,
Correct.
you know, वो है, so what? You know,
Yeah.
we do not realize and imagine it, that not having sun in life,
Yeah.
what will happen. And I think
Yeah.
we are also not, especially urban people who are not directly dependent on the water body, they do not want to imagine a day in their life. And I'm talking about middle class and affluent. Of course, poor people are still suffering in urban areas, and half of the country's population still suffers from water, access to water, including rural and poor. I think those who are the major exploiter of water or consumer of water, they have not yet drawn a map in their imagination or in their mind. What if there is no water?
Correct.
You know? And
Correct.
I think these kind of films then must impact them, and that is where it is important to show them. So I'm taking permission from you indirectly that I will use it in the classroom to show my students, because I teach water at various places. So if you don't mind, of course, it is your film. It will be shown through your page only. But if as urban people who are the largest consumer of water, and we are continuously consuming, how far these rural people can really save water for us, because the thing is, rural people have the responsibility to save water for us, which will come through the pipelines to the urban areas. They have the responsibility to grow food for us, and on top of it, the urban people see them with a very low esteem. You know,
Yeah.
this is something which really hurts me all my life. The
Yeah.
way we look at the people who consume less water, poor people, the way we look at the people, farmers, who are not only saving water, but also growing food for us, and still they do not, they are not really they are not receiving the same level of respect they deserve. In terms
Correct.
of course, their income level, their livelihood. They grow with a food with so much of an effort, and then they are sold in peanuts, and then some urbanites and some trading people come and they take the whole money out of it, then industrialists and so on and so forth. While you have met so many people in the rural areas, this is also my last question to you. What kind of change you really see in the rural landscape or rural society, where younger generation people, do they look at these systems, these practices in the same light and respect as their fathers and grandfathers, grandmothers and others? Especially if people are living there, that's a different story. But did you get a feel of how things are actually, how villages are becoming city-like, which is the biggest disaster I will think we will do? What was your experience in these areas?
No, I think it's more in line with what you said. So it's becoming more and more city-like. Water is like it's a right that I should get. I think I saw it, and I also explained it. Like I did not find a lot of people who knew about the systems so much. You know, finding even in the same village, they would not know about it too much. So that's a pity.
And younger people mainly, I guess.
Yeah, mainly young people. They were clueless about it basically. and they felt that it's their right, and the government should provide the water. And on this 2 point, actually, Anupam ji and myself, we were talking when I met him 2 times. We spoke about it. He said very nice thing. He said, let's. I met him once in Delhi and once in Mahabaleshwar. In Delhi, he said, Amit, all this water in Delhi, where it is coming from? It is coming from Himachal, or all these places by the dam, and they are taking out the water from there and supplying to us in Delhi. So basically, we are taking the water of the people who belong to that region and
Yes,
bringing it here because we have money. So it's a water theft basically. Yeah, if you think
absolutely.
about it. So it's not right. But then he said, we will see how long it will last because it's not sustainable the way, and we see it in Bangalore now. You would have heard about Bangalore crisis now. There is no water crisis,
Then
and then they are
day zero happening.
yeah, and then it's always and then they are trying to do something, but I don't know how far and how successful they are now. And the second story, when we met in Mahabaleshwar, he said, Amit, so the name of the function was Save Western Ghats.
Huh.
So he said, Amit, these people are fool. They want to save this Sahyadri, the Western Ghats, which have lasted for millions of years. So they should
Yes, it's
not
like save ourselves.
Yeah, he said, save yourself, ourselves. The Sahyadri will last. This Western Ghats will
They are
live
going to
forever.
stay here.
They are going to stay. But if you kill the forest, you kill the environment, you will eventually die. So think about
Yes.
yourself. So it was very interesting discussions with him, and I really feel that we also get this wisdom to understand this topic more deeply, I would say.
I think it is the ignorance as well as arrogance with which the urbanite is today living with. That one is right, but the right to get water. But the more we are going to face, I mean, I can share my experience of working in water sector for 30 years now. The more we are realizing, few people who are realizing that there is more water crisis going to come, and eventually some people are going to be hit more. I think the aggression of water theft in different ways, including now these data centers, including more
Correct.
industrial activity, including more, water recreational activity in the cities, river fronts, lake fronts. I think that aggression to have more is coming out of this insecurity also. It is very natural human tendency ki tomorrow kal mere paas nahi hoga to aaj zyada rakh lo. We saw it in
Correct.
COVID times. So this is something which is very alarming because we are not actually trying to save water. The tendency is earlier it was a very natural gradation to get water from rural to urban, but the tendency is slowly getting into from theft to dacoit, if I can explain you in scale, that it is becoming like it is getting normalized. कि थोड़ा और पानी नहीं है. So I saw it in Hyderabad. ठीक है, 200 किलोमीटर से पानी नहीं आ रहा है तो 2000 किलोमीटर से ले आएंगे. We have the technology and we have the money because World Bank is funding us, IMF is funding us, so we can put a larger infrastructure. And in front of that, actually the investment put in saving water is peanut butter.
Yeah.
So because we are our water management is completely now centralized way of looking at it. What we are not learning is the very sustained decentralized water management, which you have tried to capture, which Anupam Mishra ji and many water experts, I mean Anil Agarwal, who is also my favorite other than Anupam Mishra. These two giants actually, I will say, pushed me into the water sector. They have always talked about small communities taking care of their own water systems. So there is direct dependence and of course then direct respect, and that Kaka very rightly said there's nothing better than doing water. And I think that's a good point also to bring this conversation towards the close. And I would like to quote a line from Anupam Mishra ji to close this conversation today, when he argues that Rajasthan's water crisis is not a failure of nature, but a failure of memory, specifically the erosion of knowledge systems that once converted the erratic rainfall into reliable water security. And I would like to bring a line from Niti Aayog, time cut, and then come to Niti Aayog here. And Niti Aayog report has been constantly talking about we have more data and knowledge crisis than water crisis. And I
Yeah.
think I'm also experiencing it in my own life of practice of water, that we have so much of proponents of action that we are not really lagging far behind as proponents of knowledge. So we are not really looking at the knowledge, how water needs to be saved. We just get these quick fix solutions, and motor was a quick fix solution, of course, with the electricity generated. As I told you, that the aggressiveness to grab more water because there is going to be insecurity is increasing in leaps and bounds in different ways.
Correct.
And that is also increasing the disparity between urban and rural. Much of the rural migration to urban areas is because of the water crisis, and it is now proven fact. So,
Correct.
it's a triple loss that rural areas face, not only water, but food, but also livelihood opportunities. If they don't grow,
Yes.
they have uncertainties. These are the many things I think the visionaries like Anupam Mishra, Anil Agrawal ji, and many more greats had actually seen ahead of time that we are going to see this. And my worry is that how can we educate the educated? And that's where I focus on urban areas, because whenever we have to look back on water knowledge, we fall back on the rural system. We have actually not developed some resilient urban system of knowledge of water conservation. And
Yeah.
the urban system is all about water appropriation or water grabbing. It's not about conservation. And that is
Correct.
the big gap. So anyway, we can keep talking about it, but lovely to have this conversation with you. I'm already taking online permission that I will use your film as a course material for my future water education wherever I'm invited. So please be aware, and of course, with due acknowledgement. Thank you so much, Amit, for this wonderful session. And before I let you go, I would also like to announce our next Friday water session is on book reading on April 24th. And we are going to discuss an edited volume on river rejuvenation and river rights, evolving debates in India. It has interesting shades, political ecology and political economy of rivers. And we will have both the editors of the book, Professor Philip Collett and Professor Ruchi Shri, who are going to take us through the book. And as always, I'm going to read the book and be the reviewer and the critique of the book for the session. Thank you so much, all of you. Please take care of yourself. W4W is going on reflective and regenerative mode for some time. And we are going slow because we are trying to create our new ways of doing things. We have a young bunch of army who have joined us to bring W4W to new shape, new heights, and we are so much looking forward to it. Stay tuned with us and do keep checking our website, www.w4w.in, for more details, and all our social media handles are there for you. We are an open access education portal for everyone because we strongly believe water conversations are extremely crucial for water conservation. Thanks a lot. Please take care. And thank you, Amit, once again. Lovely talking to you. And wish you all the best for your future films.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.